Batavia Downs. Win more, lots more.
Folks, thank you for joining us this Wednesday evening. This is not the show where you wrestle with your conscience. It's not the show where you wrestle with your budget. This is Wrestling with Emotion, another installment here on a fine Wednesday, and I got the panel, the triple threat, if you will. Maniac joining us, and as well as your friend, our friend, my friend, Jake Micah. Boys, how we doing? We got King and Queen of the Ring on the horizon, Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, as well as All in Texas looming around the corner, kicking off with AEW Grand Slam Mexico. First arena show in Mexico on national TV in quite some time, gents.
Yeah, I'd say this is beginning with All In becoming a staple at this time of year. Dare I say that this time of year is given WrestleMania season a run for its money as the official apex of the wrestling season. So I'm interested to see if they can deliver. I think overall SummerSlam fell a little flat last year. We went. It was a great show, but you knew that the main event was going to be Roman Reigns returning and somehow saving Cody Rhodes from Solo Sikoa. Like everybody knew that from square one. So it took a little of the luster off. But again, there could be some big surprises. There could be some big moments coming up in these wrestling seasons, and that could be playing big on the wrestling landscape and wrestling lore and history, Micah.
All of it. There's a lot. It's a big moment in wrestling right now. Like, you can feel it one way or the other. Like, we're going to remember June, July 2025, good or bad, something going on here. But right now, like, it's been a heck of a week of wrestling already on TV at American wrestling. I think we haven't even gotten to Dynamite this week, but Raw had a couple of incredible matches on the way there. But going into Dynamite tonight, like you said, being in Arena Mexico, it is like one of the cathedrals of professional wrestling. Like, to see this show on a national TV broadcast tonight, as someone who's watched a handful of shows there. I'm not going to say like I'm like an avid Lucha Libre watcher, but like knowing the history behind it and what this kind of means for this company in this moment with CMLL, huge moment. And they crushed it last night with a little appetizer already. But some big matches tonight. MJF Mystico is going to be just, I mean, MJF healing it up, wanting a mask is just great stuff. Mercedes going for another belt is going to infuriate the IWC if she gets it. Like, there's great stuff. The tag matches here. It's a big moment, though. To be in Mexico, to have this show on national television is wild. I never would have imagined it. So kudos to AEW. You saw Tony Khan guys on the timeline, right? He's feeling himself. He's posting these IG lives on these yachts.
I was just asking Maniac. I didn't realize. I went to check his X right before this. He went live 3 times in a row, like on his yacht. What was he saying, Jake? Were you tuned in?
Boat ride. So Tony Khan has been at the Con advertising festival, whatever forum, whatever it's been. A lot of TV executives there this year, and he gave a presentation there this last week with a lot of big weeks, talking about the success of AEW. So I honestly think Tony probably just crushed it at his little TED Talk type deal and was just feeling himself. And probably he's been mingling with rich people all week, private equity people, all this stuff, and probably getting told like, "Hey man, you're doing a great job. You're disrupting the market," all that stuff. So I think Tony was honestly just like, "Hey guys, I'm out here. Like, AEW is doing great." Like, it was like Tony flexing without him being like outwardly wrestling promoter about it. Right. You know what I mean? I think it was like, things are good. We're chilling here. Don't worry about us.
He's like halfway back on his bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Can't go all the way there.
I think it was his dad Chad's birthday recently too. I saw them drinking some champagne, so it could have carried over from that. His partying with his dad and all his billionaire exec friends, and then goes to a conference, kills it at the talk. People tell him how good he is. Yeah, I mean, I'd get on the live too and start going nuts. Speaking of going nuts, Death Riders and Young.
By the way, the funniest thing about these lives are they're all like 3 minutes. So like he could have easily just recorded this and then just put it as a post, but he like kind of like boomered it like out of excitement. It was like, let's just go live. Like, he's just very funny. Like, yeah, you see that father. I think he's also had a great Father's Day according to the timeline. So shout out all the dads there. But yeah, super exciting. What would you put that the CMLL championship women's CMLL odds at for tonight, Micah?
Oh, Mercedes is like minus 10,000.
Okay. Because
11,000.
here's what I would say. Every belt she collects right now moves the Tony Storm odds, in my opinion, just a little bit more in her favor. She's the bigger villain. It's a bigger come up. Mercedes, like you can say whatever you want. Maybe we're isolated that chat and I'm overthinking it. She recognizes the potential that the best way that this match goes down in history as the greatest women's match of all time is the greatest villain with the most belts of all time has to get defeated.
Maniac, I wholeheartedly agree with you. So I'm not going to put any more to it.
Right,
I think Mercedes
needed,
tonight. Mercedes is definitely winning that match tonight, though, because there's no way she can't afford. Why would she lose this close to All In? Go in there undefeated Mercedes, because either way, if you do put Mercedes over, you don't want her have one random loss and then beat Tony Storm.
If Tony Storm does interfere though and cost Mercedes,
but why? But Tony doesn't really have any. I don't think Tony has any vendetta towards Mercedes or any reason to cost her the match. Like the character Tony doesn't really.
She beat her up.
Yeah, but this isn't. She cares about the AEW title. It's not like Tony's like.
Agreed.
So, it would be. Like I said. Maybe, but I talked about this with my brother earlier, actually, and he proposed the same theory as that as well. So the antennas are up on a Tony interference potential here, costing Mercedes her first TBS law or AEW loss.
I think if anything, Tony would come out after Mercedes adds another belt to her catalog and they have like a little promo. I don't see this match going too long. I think you're right on the odds in terms of why would Mercedes lose this close to All In? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. These matches are a fever dream, man. You also, by the way, have Mark Briscoe, Kazuchika Okada, and then the Death Riders and Young Bucks versus the Ops, Will Ospreay, and Swerve Strickland. A dream lineup, but guys, the Death Riders and Young Bucks once again on our TV screen against our discretion.
Yeah, what's going on? Like the Young Bucks are like, do they just think like the Young Bucks claim to be the ultimate like wrestling guys at the end of the day? Yet they're here backstage talking to Hangman like Page about like, go finish the story and like bring it back to the Elite. Like, I don't know if they're playing clearly, and I'm not an idiot. Like clearly there is a layer that like they're two-timing everyone. They're manipulative. Like that's the whole thing. But they're almost doing it in like a like Dumb and Dumber way, like, you know what I mean, like where they just seem so stupid. And then there was the good swerve literally last week where oh my god, our guy Nana heard the whole exchange and then took us back. That was good cinema. That was, as much as you want to be mad about when AEW moves backstage from one segment to segment, that they do typically do pretty well. I know that everyone gave them flack for that one time when Christopher Daniels was like blading live or whatever. I get it. But like it's typically cinema, Micah.
So Maniac, I think your inclination is exactly right, that they have been playing a Dumb and Dumber type Two Stooges. Like, what do you mean? We're just helping you out, Hangman type deal. But I think that Hangman's reaction last week to it is going to be the turn where the Bucks are now going to be like, okay, all right, now we see where the lines are and go from there. Yeah. I love that Beast Mortos, who now has, if some people would believe it, probably the most creative power on the men's side in AEW in this tag match with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. He's already exercised. Yes, he's on the team it's him, Wheeler, Moxley, and the Bucks.
Beast Mortos
is on the team.
He's out here,
bro. He's flexing. He's
already pulling.
He needed a fifth, and they're just like, "Who has the most traction on social this week?" And they're like, "Oh, well,
yeah,
get ready to learn Elite, brother."
Yeah,
yeah. So, but it's interesting. We'll see what happens with the Young Bucks and Hangman and everything else, because that Hangman Swerve thing has like been the underlying. It hasn't gone away. It's still the underlying theme to the whole show. It's still the main like storyline going on basically right now. They're still the main characters, because no matter what you think about the Young Bucks in a tag team match against another team is a main event according to an AEW audience. So Swerve being positioned against them, no matter who it's with, and being Ospreay great, but this story is about Swerve. So like that's a main event in Tony Khan's mind.
I know people are going to consider this heresy, and true wrestling fans may, and that's fair. But I mean, facing the Young Bucks in AEW is like facing like no, I'll tone this down. I was going to say OG Bloodline, but what I'll say is it's like Bloodline 1.2 with Fatu and the Hyenas and the and Solo Sikoa. I'll say it's like.
I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that they're the Usos of AEW.
Yes.
So I think that's fair.
For sure. But I'm surprised we haven't talked about this storyline yet. You said the main storyline. How can you turn away? I was blissfully enjoying my Wednesday last week. We turned the channel quickly to watch some Bravo, and I was getting ready to catch up on this. All of a sudden, I pull up the timeline, and if you're a child, you need to please get your parents' permission for what I'm about to say. Uh-oh. Kenny Omega was being killed on television. He literally was spitting up blood. It was violent. It was dangerous. I mean, what were your guys' thoughts on this? A lot of people thought it was hokey. A lot of the WWE loyalists who one thin layer of balsam to call that a spectacle. But I mean, what did you guys think about this situation?
I thought it was a really good storytelling based on like how he has been out previously for extended periods of time for a very serious condition. That was a very serious part of his life. They showed it in a very serious format. Now, obviously, was it a bit overblown? Maybe. I did see a guy on the timeline claiming to be a doctor saying if that was your current state of life, then you had literally like 30 seconds or less to go.
Maybe Kenny was down to the deathbed.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe Doc Samson had the fire.
I love it. Fucking Doc Samson, dude.
I don't know about that, but I thought other than that, really well done. And it brings like a level of severity to an already great rivalry that hasn't fully been not introduced, but fully been explained in AEW to the full extent, if you know what I'm saying.
That's a great point. Because in the lore of Omega Okada, like this is essentially, now I know WWE fans might like throw their noses up at this. This is King Kong Godzilla in the wrestling world. These are two titans literally going at it. So when you come in with this battle from where they've left off at the Tokyo Dome and all their history, you're right. It's like you can't do like a slow build where like one of them like slaps each other. Like you have to go to like burning down cities, like all kinds of crazy mode right away, for sure, right? I mean, Micah, right? Like more than both of us.
I agree completely. Like that's what I was going to say is that it's probably not going to get as crazy as that ever again during this build, but they had to set the standard of violence and what the stakes are. Like if Okada wants to do, like the stakes are now, if Okada wants to and gets Kenny beaten down enough, he could like seriously injure him, maybe make him retire in this match. Like it's setting the danger for the babyface. It's also setting the lines, like, because there is a potential that you go into this match where people would just cheer for Okada. Like Okada's a great wrestler. They would love to see him. Maybe just would want to be contrarian. Now Kenny Omega is going to be the biggest babyface, like the second biggest babyface on the planet next to Hangman Page walking into that building. Maybe even the biggest, depending on what happens over the next month with that dastardly Don Callis and Okada. So I think it's setting Kenny Omega as the clear babyface and Okada just becoming an even bigger heel in that moment is what this match needed. That for American audience, for a stadium, for everything, like big villain Okada, superhero Omega with the entrance he'll do and everything else. That's money. That's what the deal is.
Micah, that felt like a vibe reminder. That felt like when Kevin Owens powerbomb, and now different circumstances leading up to it. Mm-hmm. But the very first time Kevin Owens powerbombed Sami Zayn in NXT, and it was like you could drop a pin like in the arena, like after that, like it was unbelievable. So a lot going on there, and I want to go off on a rant on this. Speaking of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because you have WWE haters. Anytime AEW does something outside of the box, I would say, and Kenny Omega spitting up blood like this was definitely outside the box. There's like the haters of like it's too much, and it was like campy and like stupid and ridiculous. It wasn't too long ago that Daniel Bryan returned from potential career-ending injury at WrestleMania to tag team with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And what happened in that match? Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens attacked Daniel Bryan before the match and power bombed him off the side of the ring and everything. They made you think that they had already ended his career again. So again, to like point the finger and be like, how could like AEW do this with like Omega when he had like the series issues? This is what these entertainers do. Clearly, this is part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, that match should be crazy once we get to All In Texas. They definitely picked the right spot for it. Speaking of picking the right spots for things, the right spot for King of the Ring, I guess they picked it because it's out in the Middle East of Saudi Arabia. We've gotten the tournament underway, though. The finals will take place, as I said, Night of Champions, King and Queen of the Ring finales. Let me just pull up this tournament bracket here. So on the men's side, we're through to semifinals. Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. Kind of an insane power Final Four, especially given how loaded these four-way eliminators were, I guess, if you want to call them, because it's essentially the first round, but the odds are stacked against you.
I mean, in the annals of history, if you have let me just change one small thing. Sami Zayn beats Roman Reigns at whatever pay-per-view it was to win the WWE. You're talking about any of these matches could main event a top 4 pay-per-view for sure. Mm-hmm. So I would say this is a loaded card. Well, loaded semifinal round. I'm sorry.
And even the lore that goes behind them, like the two obvious ones are Zayn and Uso in the finals is obviously, and it would be an insane moment, especially in Saudi Arabia. But you could also pivot and go the exact opposite, and Rhodes and Orton meeting in this kind of scenario is really juicy as well. But even if you did Orton and Uso, there's so much bloodline history and hatred there that those two had, especially for the tag titles and everything else. And then obviously Zayn and Rhodes have been
literally
the last 3 years. No matter
every
what.
combo of those matches, again, with one smallest tweak to WWE history, could main event a main 4 pay-per-view for sure.
And that's credit to the storytelling of the last couple of years, right? Like they've made everything connect to each other in some way, so that we get these matches and we're like, oh my god, like
I would love a
behind. They worked with that guy in that time,
I would love a behind-the-scenes doc on when they pulled the trigger on Jey Uso for sure, because they gave him all those main event opportunities in 2020, and then 21 he was the right-hand man. The guy. Then when the bloodline came, that was when like the secondary acting and everything was taken to the next level. Like he was by far the funniest, he was by far the angriest. Like it was hilarious. And then when he turned face for Zayn at Tribal Court. Like it was one of the loudest pops that anyone had ever gotten or whatever. It's great. But it's kudos to everyone here. This is gonna make a great semifinal, a great kudos to Triple H at the end of the day. Paul Levesque. If you want to give all the other stuff shit, this has definitely been a well booked King of the Ring so far, boys.
Yeah. Couldn't say it better myself. All options very plausible and have stories to them. Sami Zayn would probably be my early favorite lean, but nonetheless, the Queen of the Ring side, Roxanne Perez, Jade Cargill, and Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Another 4 not to be sneezed at whatsoever. Jade Cargill and Roxanne Perez, however, both somewhat newcomers. Obviously, Roxanne just with the call-up. Jade's been with the company about 2 years now, but then 2 former world champions on the other side, boys.
This is really interesting what direction they want to go. They could set a standard here in different ways, because Jade and Roxanne, I think, is pretty obvious. I think Naomi gets involved here, screws Jade over. Roxanne goes to that final. I would honestly say Roxanne is my pick to win this, and Roxanne and Io just having a banger at SummerSlam makes a lot of sense to do that. And Io Sky has just been missing from television, so I hope that they have some sort of direction for her for SummerSlam, and that would be a really good match. And I think that's a great spot for Roxanne. But Alexa and Asuka on either side, really could use that win more than Roxanne, right? Like if you could always give Roxanne a title match. She's not going to be hurt by this, but you could reestablish Asuka immediately and put her head to head with Io in a story all of a sudden that's like really interesting, right? Like Damage Control. I think the report the other day was that Damage Control from Fightful is that it's basically done like internally. They're not even referencing it anymore, but they could reference the history between Io and Asuka, especially since Asuka just returned from injury. So I feel like Asuka has a really good shot there, but then Alexa too had like been doing nothing. So maybe they've just been waiting to give her a big win. So I think there's a lot of options, but I'd go with Roxanne.
You brought up a great footnote amongst all this, Mike. Damage control at the end of the day. We need some on-screen something. And even if all you have to do, and I know Asuka's got it limited, but she could go to, whoever it is, or, after this and be like, damage control is still going. And she'd be like, after this, no damage control. And then that would all you need. That would all you need. Like just something on screen for sure. Does Jade Cargill finally get her push for Slick? We'll stay tuned there, but I was glad to see Asuka back. Absolutely dominant performance in a banger of a match there.
Yeah, great.
And yeah, let's not forget that Asuka's her at the end of the day. The Empress of Tomorrow, but now Tomorrow's here. I think.
You want to talk about Aura?
Yeah.
That music
God,
hit.
dude.
That music hit.
Dude,
I stood up. I was like, "Let's go."
Bro, it had been a minute, and sometimes it's almost like a Shaq memory loss. I had forgot. I had lost familiarity with Asuka's game. I forgot anytime she's in the ring, it's legitimately must watch.
No doubt. I'm kind of 50-50 on the Roxanne Jade side of things. I do kind of lean Roxanne, but given Asuka's timing of just returning, I feel like for her to lose this, it would have to be for someone else to interfere to start a blood feud with her or something. Otherwise, I think Alexa just takes a loss there, and then she probably doesn't even travel to Saudi Arabia with everyone else. Probably just stays at home with the family, and then you have Asuka versus either one on that other side. You are probably making them a star against someone like Asuka just coming back, who you guys said has infinite aura, basically. But yeah, no, all credit to WWE's side of things. Very, very well booked King and Queen of the Ring thus far. We got comments here on Twitch. Travi J saying, "Hear me out. Jade wins Queen of the Ring." Jade.
I see where he's going. Jade versus Io, and then we have a Money in the Bank holder there too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
That could be it. See, that's the thing is
the Twitch chat gets working, Micah. They get popping over there.
But the thing is with Naomi, if she wants to, if with Naomi, it's like she could cost Jade at any point. But why not do it during a title match? But that's the thing about this is Seth Rollins just going to do that during the match at SummerSlam too? Because if Sami Zayn wins, I feel like we're setting up for Gunther, Sammy, SummerSlam with a Rollins cash in the match at some point. Like that feels destined. But let's talk about this for a second, guys. If you had to guess today, does Seth Rollins cash in for the World Heavyweight title or for the WWE title? Because I think it's still up in the air.
I think it's how Cena loses his WWE title.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Maybe.
I don't care how it happens. I don't care what he means at, but Rollins being at the ramp or whatever with Cena just in despair, oh my gosh, just give me it.
Imagine the second half of this whole Cena farewell tour, Cena chasing Rollins and his group of fucking monsters trying to get the world title one more time before he retires.
That could be a great way to turn him face. It'd be hard though, because people would still go nuts for that Seth cash in no matter what. Maniac, which title do you think is more likely?
The thing is, I feel like WWE title would be better, but I feel like Paul, who we know that Seth loves very much, is gonna kind of convince him that for his legacy, it would be better for the World Heavyweight title or something. It'll make more sense, because he cashed in already for the WWE Even though technically then it was the WWE World Heavyweight title. It was the combo brand there. But I definitely, there's no question, I would always prefer to see it cashed in for the title with the big W on it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I think that's the one everyone leans towards. No disrespect to the World Heavyweight title. I know I was a big fan of that big gold, that original big gold back in the day.
Do you think that he, because Rollins was obviously the winner of that, and there were some reports, I believe, back then that he kind of played a role in getting that brought back into the mix, / like Cody played a role in bringing it in the mix. Like, well, I mean, that's kind of massive. I forget about that, because we forget about what it was like for. Yeah, I mean, that was the era coming out of straight basically Brock and Roman, where you had the champion never on TV. That sucked. Now we're in an era where the champion's on TV at least every other week.
I actually was arguing about this on Twitter with people, and Sean Ross Sapp came in for me the other day and backed me up. I had an SRS swoop in for me.
Oh, you had an SRS swoop?
Look at this. SRS came in. Let me go. I'll pull this right up here right now, because I was talking about this the other day. I was talking about how the U.S. title on Raw.
Let me pull it up. You do your title.
SRS going to
the main title on that show. The U.S. title during that time, like Rollins was U.S. champ. It was the top title on that show. Like, we're watching that show. They were positioning it. It wasn't, they didn't call it a world title, but it absolutely was the top title on Raw when Roman was on SmackDown and there was no title on Raw. And so I was arguing with some dummy on Twitter about this. I was like, bro, you don't even understand what you're like. We're saying the same thing and you're telling me I'm wrong. Like, we're both right. That's what I was trying to say.
Which is often a very that happens a lot on the IW.
But you know, I told you guys my mission on Twitter is I'm always gonna try to disarm and just be like, listen, like get through your thick skull. We're not arguing right now.
Right.
SRS came in.
I think I got this brought up.
Yep, this is it.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
when I was talking about what belt to cash in, I was literally about to say the only dumb thing you could do with the Money in the Bank title is not cash it in for one of the two main ones. It's like literally the only dumb thing you do.
And that's what made it so funny when Theory did it. But I mean, obviously we know
there he is.
Yeah, let's see this.
What a beast.
That is not really just rules. You're literally proving everyone else's point. I love it. What a
they also never said this is a mid-card title, because why would you say that about your top title?
It's also hilarious because up until that tweet, the guy was just talking to you, like firing tweets, and you weren't even talking back. And then here comes SRS, like, I got you, my boy.
Sean Ross swoop with the swoop after dark, for sure.
World heavyweight title should be focused. Seth should be going to WWE, not heavyweight. I hope so too. I mean, that Cena and Seth with Paul Heyman involved would feed families. But Cena right now, he's got a
it would just be cool if like they made some like the reason it's called the WWE like World Heavyweight title or whatever is because it has to be defended every 30 days. Like bang, like that's just like make us some stupid shit and like have fun with the world of wrestling. There's no rules. Like I loved literally there was nothing cooler. Like I still remember this when AEW started and Jim Ross was talking about like Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle. He's like lifestyles change, boys. When titles go away, when that championship purse leaves the entourage, so he was making sense of why like the Inner Circle would always interfere in their matches and like, keep Chris Jericho with the title. Like he added an aspect of realism that they were making more money because Chris Jericho was the champion. Like, why can't we have that same idea applied in WWE? Why does it always have to feel like it's like in a make-believe universe?
I agree.
WWE always.
Speaking of that, tonight there's in Grand Slam. The 4-way match is a 4 million peso 4-way. Like just stupid shit like that. Like,
dude, and yes, the second year of AEW or whatever it was when Matt Hardy had the match with Adam Page for his Q1 earnings or whatever. Like that was fucking hysterical.
Big money Matt.
That was literally funny. Like, and it didn't change anything. It was just literally a fake talking point that was actually hilarious and made real life sense.
Yep.
Speaking of realism, the last real champion has a little bit of a tick on his hands, if you will. I was gonna put this banner up, but then I saw there's a better option. CM Punk a hypocrite, guys? Is he gonna admit to the world of his hypocrisy.
No, that's going to be the storyline. Cena already realized he kind of unlocked it in their first promo, right, Micah? He did the little teaser about it. They're going to continue to tease. They're going to do everything but say it out loud, and they're going to stretch like CM Punk to like his like goodwill. He hasn't been this stretch since he lost his bracelets.
Oh God.
It is pushing Punk in a way that no one else really can do and no other topic really can do. What's interesting to me about this, guys, is that this is such an online thing for John Cena and Cena. Like for two guys and for a booker who claim they're not online at all, you wouldn't know that this is a thing unless you know Twitter. Like it's literally based off a tweet. So like I feel like, and somebody, I think it was Kazim from who does the Ringer Wrestling and wrote for WWE in the past. He said like, I don't care, bro. The IWC is the majority now, and people who don't are casuals. And maybe not all crowds, but I do think there's more cities that are smart crowds in the country than ever before, where they know where you're more likely to run into places that know what's going on the internet than you have been in the past. I'm not going to say more likely than ever, but then you have in past years. There's still going to be some cities that are just like there to yeet and just hyped and do whatever. But there's going to be some people that are like in and no, I think more often than ever. That's just the nature of the business now.
I mean, the pipe bomb and the whole summer of Punk was built on the idea of breaking the fourth wall. It had never been done. It was considered like a no-no, like you weren't allowed to do it. Then he started like spam doing it. Of course, it's going to be like, this guy's freaking awesome. He's like doing something that nobody else can do. He's like playing by a different set of rules for sure. So I mean, a hypocrite, like at the end of the day, things change for sure as they changed for Punk. I don't think in 2022 or 2021, he would ever told you he was going back to WWE or whatever. Then all of a sudden
he did it. He said the grass is not always greener.
Agreed. But things change, and I understand business change, lifestyles change, etc. It'll just be very interesting to see how much they play into it for sure.
I wonder what changed between him saying "come see me" and the Bucks knocking down his door. But anyway, I digress.
Is there any chance they can work? Oh well, first off, one day that will be revealed. But is there any way that they could work like the Miz into this? Like I know he's a free agent now, Micah, or what's the deal?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with
because Cena needs to bring out the Miz or something, dude.
But imagine
Miz and Cena versus Punk and Truth. Book it right now.
It would honestly be awesome if the Miz helped Punk. Like that would make all the sense in the world.
No, what? Because they have the real life tweet beat.
Well, you're saying like things change. Like if they're going with this real life angle, they want to prove in real life that things do change. And they tried to make this whole thing about how the Miz and Punk made up when he came to WWE when he was still in AEW, and that was a whole story in itself. Now that they're friends, they want to show like, look, like we have mended our ways. Like the olive branch has been extended. We're boys now. What I said in the past doesn't reflect the true nature of myself in the present. But ultimately, you can't really do that unless it would result in CM Punk win, which
the Miz stands up for wrestling. That's what's going on here.
I was leveraging it in the way that Cena could go like triple heel and be like, I should have listened to you all those years ago when we main evented WrestleMania, Miz. You said these fans were all jerks, and you were right. Like I put in all those years. Like I wish my career had gone like yours, like or something. Like it would be hysterical.
See, that's
like, Cena could be so funny in this situation. But
that's better. But like the way, like knowing WWE, the way I pitched it would probably be the realistic one. But like, yeah, Cena doing that would be like MJF level heel tactics, like especially out there with what they're going for already with Punk. Love to see that. Love all these comments, Trevi J. Thank you for keeping them coming in. He wants to be a part of the panel. Drag queen wrestler in Los Angeles. Shout out to you doing your thing out there on the West Coast. Guys, I've been seeing this cosplay on my screen on Tuesday nights. That a lot of blonde women have been doing because a certain Sabrina Carpenter just released another song in the summer, and we have Blake Monroe cosplaying here as Sabrina, Tony Storm. Which one is it? And what the hell's up with this name?
Yeah, it's mysterious. It kind of reeks, unfortunately, of some prior administration, Micah. This is straight out of their playbook, right? It's
That's
almost like the more
apparently
things change, the more they stay the same.
that's apparently their thing now is they want to own the names again. They want to do this whole they're going back to this whole charade, which it's wild to me that they're doing this when they can send people like when Blake
Team
Monroe
Tony.
and Ricky Saints can show up on your TV without a name and everybody already knows who they are. And then you think,
They
you know, what'll make
chanted
them
their
a bigger
name.
star if I change their name. Like, why not Mariah Monroe? Why not Mariah something? Why
That
not
rolls off
keep
the
May in
tongue
the name?
so much better.
Them
Why
not using
ca- why
May
can't they
makes
go
me
with
so
something-
mad. May
Why
is
can't-
May is the money name there. There's so much marketing opportunity with May in your name.
Like
what are we
Mayday,
doing?
make it, yeah. Oh,
It's
geez.
all about May was her whole thing, man. Like it was
Yeah.
so easy. That could be you're telling me that could be a WWE shop shirt right away. I don't understand everything about Blake Monroe's decision. It just doesn't make sense to me business wise. It makes sense to me that she's a fan of WWE and wanted to be a work there. Cool. But like objectively,
Agreed.
business wise, doesn't make any sense to me as a wrestler at all.
Yeah, for sure. That would have been a good one. April,
May.
April, for sure.
If they do a segment where someone does pull out they say Timu Tony, I will pop for that, no doubt. That would be a great little diss right there.
What has a better chance of happening? Cena, because I think we're about wrapped up on the Blake Monroe talk. If Cena losing his title before the end of August,
Mhm.
or Moxley / Monet, one of the three, Moxley losing it all in or Monet losing it all in. Which of those three has the largest chance of happening?
Moxley.
I think it's Moxley too.
You think it's Hangman for sure at all in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I think it's Hangman.
The tape up scene last week was something.
Bro, that was
them
walking him out there already taped up was how about
have
Moxley,
an honest conversation.
Moxley hiding backstage like
And the janitor
reveal,
that was crazy.
He was kind of funny last week. Like he had some funny facial expressions during the match too. Like he was if Moxley decides to go a little like goofy and a little more animated this next month to like really heal it up and just try to be the exact opposite of Hangman's like stoicism, you know what I mean? It could get interesting. Like we know Mox can do some wonky shit. Like he's a weird dude.
He is a weird dude.
For certain.
That belt has been in a briefcase for like what, months now? Feels like over a year at this point.
Yeah, it's been a briefcase. Got to let that breathe for sure.
Hangman's the perfect guy to do it too. I mean, AEW was at its peak, you could say, when Hangman was previously world champion and wrestling the likes of Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson in 60-minute time limit draws. Yeah, I think that's how you restore the feeling, especially with like the slowing down of WWE at this time of year. You definitely want to get that going as they try to get their momentum going in a push towards SummerSlam for sure, because they just announced the press conference on Saturday at Fanatics Fest in New York City, which, Maniac, should we let the people know?
What do you think? Should we do it?
Maniac and I will be at the press conference on Saturday for Cena and John Cena and CM Punk.
Apparently, VIP access has been mentioned. That's all I'm saying. We might be getting scammed.
Guys, if you see an update from us with nowhere to stay and nothing to do on the streets of New York, just know that this all did not come to fruition. But as of right now, we think we will be at the SummerSlam kickoff.
Us when we get there and we got scammed.
You get nothing.
It's just John Cena standing there. Like,
oh my God, we're like, oh, we heard we have exclusive access passes. And like, you get nothing.
It's just a Fanatics rep at the door.
You get nothing.
Oh my God.
And then they hit us with this.
You fucking mark.
Absolutely. But so I'd said to Select, there's a 4% chance we're getting scammed. But if the person's getting scammed, they know how to make Fanatics Fest VIP passes that we can add to our Apple Wallet that apparently have a QR code in them. So I don't know if they know how to do that, then we're getting scammed. But besides that, we're allowed to go to Fanatics Fest.
We're either going to be there for SummerSlam kickoff, folks, or we're being part of the most elaborate scam ever conducted on Trainwreck
Seriously.
Sports. Stay tuned to find out. It'll be one or the other. But until then, I almost forgot. Shout outs, sign offs.
Yeah.
Shout out to AEW, stay in the grind. Also, shout out to WWE for staying through a little bit of tumult. I mean, some of it is self done for sure. But seems like we're back to just quality wrestling every week after a little bit of a shaky post WrestleMania period there for WWE.
I'll shout out all the amazing Lucha Libre we've seen this month. And last night was Bandito and Mascara Dorado, which was one of the best matches I've seen so far this year. So I don't know how you can go watch it. I was watching it through Discord with some friends. I literally have no idea where that link exists in the world, but if you can find it, you should watch it.
I got it eventually somehow after some hard digging, only just in time to see the end of the very last match. So other than that, great mentions by you guys. I will shout out every one of you that tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Instagram on this Wednesday edition of the show where we do not wrestle with our conscience, nor do we wrestle with our budget. We wrestle with emotion. And I must bid you, good night, bang.
Batavia Downs.